All right, good morning, guys. I forgot to do day five on day five and day six on day six. So here I am going to be doing day five and day six and day seven. So triple threat today. Uh, for uh, for day five, we have the Avengers Total Superhero. It is Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. Kamala Khan juggles her dual identities as student and person with sort of superpowers. When Jersey City is threatened, can she find the strength to become a total superhero? I enjoyed Iman Iman's portrayal of Miss Marvel in the films and the show in the MCU right now. Awesome stuff. So total superhero. Yeah, cute little Miss Marvel with a big old hand. Waving. Kamala Khan was totally a superhero. Or maybe she was a sort of superhero? A person with sort of superpowers. Kamala thought that was probably more accurate. Her friend Bruno kept telling her she was a real superhero, not a sort of superhero. But it didn't feel real to her. Not yet. It was still all too new. That's a cool pose. Or that's a cool image. Here's how it all started. One night, when Kamala was still just a normal teen, she'd been down by the Jersey City waterfront when a strange mist started to roll in off the river. It was the Terrigen mist, a gas that reveals when people have special genes, a mist that can activate superpowers. When Kamala staggered out of the mist, something was different. She was different. She looked just like her hero, Captain Marvel. She now had the power to change the shape of her body, her face, even her size. When Kamala realized she needed a superhero identity, sorry, I, Kamala realized that she needed a superhero identity. There was no when there, my mistake. While she wanted to honor her all time favorite hero by naming herself Miss Marvel, she also wanted to own her own look. Inspired by clothing customs from her Muslim upbringing, she created her very own costume. Now she was Miss Marvel, protector of Jersey City, scourge of criminals, safekeeper of corner shops, a sort of superhero. So this is when she looked like Captain Marvel. And then here's Miss Marvel, a sort of superhero. A sort of superhero. That's such a cute little. So that's how Kamala Khan became Miss Marvel. But what was Miss Marvel doing on this particular night? Nothing. Miss Marvel muttered, looking around. A cricket chirped. A few buildings away, a baby was crying. It was late and everyone was home. Nobody was committing any crimes. Miss Marvel knew she should be happy about this. Peace and quiet was good. But she had been kind of looking forward to using her new powers on some evildoers. So here's Miss Marvel. She's looking kind of bored and disappointed. Well, I guess I'm going home, Miss Marvel said to herself. Crash! Two people barreled into the alley. Miss Marvel watched as they stood up and squared off. She gasped quietly. One of them was Carol Danvers herself, Captain Marvel. And the other was the inventor? Miss Marvel squeaked. She knew all about that bad guy. He was half man, half bird, and all bad. Captain Marvel raised her fist. A yellow glow began to build around her hand. But before she could zap the inventor, he fired a strange pulse of light at Captain Marvel. So there's Captain Marvel, and there's the inventor with his bird face, and then there's Kamala at the top looking. It's like, oh no. Or like, gasp. The ray of pulsing light wrapped itself around Captain Marvel like a squirming octopus of energy. Ah! She yelled, pawing at the tentacles of light. But she couldn't dislodge them. Miss Marvel was torn. Should she pursue the villain or should she help her hero? She made her decision and leaped down into the alley, stretching her legs impossibly long to help control her fall. The inventor grinned and fled. Boom! The inventor's energy field vaporized in a cloud of blinding yellow light. Captain Marvel staggered back, right into a bin. Miss Marvel couldn't believe the Captain Marvel was right in front of her. Even covered in old burrito wrappers, she was so cool. "You're Miss Marvel, right?" Captain Marvel said. Miss Marvel was shocked. You know who I am?" "Of course," Captain Marvel said. "The Avengers got a report that the inventor has squirreled away a piece of Wakandan ship, so we all spread out to find it, and I'm assigned to check out Jersey City. It's your turf. Want to help me out?" The two Marvels took off running after the inventor. As they ran, Miss Marvel's thoughts were racing, and then suddenly she had an idea. There was a junkyard about 10 blocks to the south. If the inventor has stolen Wakandan tech, then maybe he was using it to power one of his junkyard inventions. "Got any ideas?" Captain Marvel asked. "The junkyard," Miss Marvel said with confidence. She pointed an elongated finger. "It's down this street." "Brilliant," Captain Marvel cried. Soon they arrived at the junkyard. Here's Miss Marvel getting the idea and telling Captain Marvel it's down this way. The inventor was there. Miss Marvel's eyes went wide when she saw him. "Adorable," he said with a sneer, looking down at the two superheroes from his stolen perch. "I bet you think you can beat me. Me, a genius scientist in a jet of my own design, complete with Wakandan tech." He punched a button and half a dozen missiles shot toward Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel. "Embiggen!" Miss Marvel yelled. Captain Marvel raised her fists. They were shimmering with unearthly power. So there's the inventor in his little jet, shooting the missiles. Miss Marvel embiggened, and Captain Marvel behind her. Fun fact, you're not going to hear Iman say embiggen in the MCU because the way she got her powers is very different in the MCU. Thinking fast, Miss Marvel grabbed a junk car out of a garbage heap and hurled it at the inventor. "Keep him coming," Captain Marvel yelled to Miss Marvel. "Distract him." Miss Marvel picked up cars, trash cans, steel joists, whatever she can find, and threw them at the inventor. He dodged each one, but that meant he wasn't looking at Captain Marvel, who was glittering brighter and brighter. Boom! Captain Marvel released a blast that cut power to the ship entirely. "No!" the inventor cried as his ship plummeted toward the ground. Miss Marvel grabbed the ship out of the air with her embiggened hand and held it tight. The inventor squirmed and squealed, but he was stuck in the powerless ship. And just like that, it was over. They defeated the inventor together. "I owe you one, Miss Marvel," Captain Marvel said. Behind them, agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. were hauling the inventor away. She had already called it in to the rest of the Avengers to let them know the tech had been secured. "T'Challa told me to thank you on his behalf." It was all sinking in. She'd team up with Captain Marvel, and they'd been a great team. "Happy to help," she said, her eyes wide. "Let's do this again soon." Captain Marvel smiled. "I look forward to it," she said, and she stuck out her hand. Miss Marvel shook it enthusiastically. Without another word, Captain Marvel rocketed off into space. Look at him in the birdcage, basically. That's funny. Miss Marvel stood there for a long time, watching the trail of light fade and vanish. Miss Marvel, protector of Jersey City, scourge of the inventor and junkyard thieves everywhere. Total superhero. In the end, total superhero.